I'd like to call this regular city council meeting of December 8, 2014 to order, and we would like to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call shows we do have one absent council person. She did call, or her husband called. He's quite ill and could not attend, so Bev asked to be excused.
I'll move that we excuse Bev.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, approval of minutes from November 24.
Move the minutes.
Second.
I think I had something there, though. Hang on a second. No, I didn't highlight it, so it must not have been that big a deal. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of bills.
I just had a question on one. So you ended up ultimately getting a new Kaiser compressor?
Show me where on here.
Page 7 of the invoice approval. 816722. It's a Kaiser blower, I guess it is. I hope we didn't pay for something
Somebody
we didn't get.
Professional Pump Incorporated, Kaiser Blower.
Somebody got one.
Kaiser?
I mean, I've had some, I ordered some parts and repairs. Page 7, you said?
Yeah, the last page of the bills. The last thing on the bills, as a matter of fact.
That isn't the big ones. That's just a small one that we have. They're very, very costly. And
Yeah.
that supplies air to our digester, not to the main part of the plant. Yeah.
Okay,
what
that's,
that is.
this is different from
Yeah,
the compressor that you were
I thought
talking
you were
about
talking
earlier?
the big one,
Yeah, okay, thank you. That's all I
Yep,
had.
that's what that is, Glenn.
I move the bills if no one's got something.
I'll second.
For discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Approval of the agenda, any additions or deletions?
I don't have any changes.
Move the agenda.
I'll support.
Further discussion, I thought we were requested, there was a request to pull the nose. Did I miss something, or,
Because it was tabled to this meeting, we have to put it back on here because it was tabled to a specific meeting. When it comes up in old business, or
Okay.
it was postponed to this specific meeting, when it comes up in
okay,
old business,
and then we can do
we
what?
table it to an
All right,
indefinite period.
all right. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public comment. Anybody wishes to speak on any item not listed on the agenda? State your name and address.
Carl Richards, 390 Lennox. Fairly fast, 3 items. I'd love to speak on the Knolls, but I'll let that go. You can't possibly know this, okay? At last week's Planning Commission meeting, item number 2 on new business was approved. It was the proposed site plan of Peters True Value Hardware on the east end of town by the railroad tracks. I won't say too much because there may be somebody else in the audience that would love to speak also. But that means they tear the building down, okay, and they don't have to build it back identical. There are 4 contingencies in the approved site plan that were not mandated in the final vote. There was much disagreement amongst the members. It was not a full commission, but there was a majority vote. Anyway, I'm letting you know this because you'll know why you'll never see it, okay, before the end of the year unless it goes online with the other previous two planning commission meetings minutes, which are online and not written up. Okay, item number 2, there's a new barber shop in town. Now, the rest of you may not know about it, okay, but it's in the old Tregontown building, right there where the jewelry store was, and there's been no grand opening. They just put in barber chairs and opened up. It's right on Wells Street, right at the alley, or the easement. I haven't been in, but I can recognize it when I see it, okay? And very familiar look to it. Okay, item number 3. There's a new book in town, okay? See this, people? Okay. All right, the title of it is My Story, and it's written by a somewhat distant relative of mine, Marshall Richards. Okay. It was just published. I don't know how many copies are available. I hope the library gets about 6 or 8. It's written very beautifully and accurately in the second person, and it's very nicely done with different chapters, and I don't know if I'm in it, but my mother and father are in it, okay, and some grandparents that I never knew. And there's a lot in it about your house, Aaron, because that's where they lived and where the rest of them grew up. Very interesting, okay. Anyway, I'm announcing this to the city, the council, and it reads beautifully, and there are pictures from old South Lyon. You can't see this very well. South Lyon High School yearbooks from 48 or 47 or something like that, you know, and other pictures of weddings and blah, 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 you know. And I didn't contribute anything on this, but
Amazing.
I recommend it to all of you if you'd like to know it. Thank you very much.
Is that your copy, Carl?
Yeah, that's my copy.
Okay, I'll
They're
borrow.
not for sale.
My story.
I'll borrow it from you.
Feel free to.
Thanks.
Your ghosts are written.
My ghosts are in there.
Anybody else?
My name is Ken Kneisel. I'm actually a resident of Salem Township, but I'm here tonight representing the South Lyon First United Methodist Church. We are here requesting that an amendment be made to the signed ordinance that was passed in February of this year, and we would like that amendment to allow churches to have electronic signs similar to the one that St. Joe's Catholic Church currently has.
Short and sweet.
Yeah. To the point?
Okay.
Was that going to solve the problem faster than if you went to the ZBA?
That's what I've been told.
Yes, it'll sign it will not only sign it faster than going to the ZBA, it will also prevent us from having issues for situations going forward with if we would just amend the sign ordinance to allow churches and those types of establishments. And Carmine is here. He can speak to it more later in the meeting during my time.
Mr. Mayor?
Okay,
Can we
Joe,
talk?
yeah.
Personally, I mean, this is something I know is brought to the attention of many people, and St. Joe's has a sign. I don't see why we wouldn't be able to, in my personal opinion, be able to do something similar. But my question is that something we could do tonight and make a motion tonight so they don't have to, so they can get this done? Because that would be my preference, is that we do it tonight.
It's an action item. I mean, if you get a super majority, you can.
Don't we?
Actually, it's amending an ordinance,
Yeah,
so
we
it
have to-
takes 2 readings.
I was going to say it takes 2.
And it needs to be a reading.
What on earth would you not want to make sure that all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed? And let our planner do his thing.
I was just saying, if they've been waiting a long time, maybe it would be nice to do today.
It's something that can move forward relatively quickly if the council is in accordance with it, but it is something that will take at least 2 council meetings because it is an ordinance amendment.
That's not a problem.
So well, that would be January 26th is the second meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Because hopefully we can have that in order. Get that in order. Can we do that? You got to.
Mayor, members of council, well, the process is, first of all, we have to look at, because the electronic message signs are only allowed for, I think it's commercial and industrial and office uses in those districts. And the church that is before you tonight is in a residential zoning district. So the recommendation was to amend the ordinance so that we can take a comprehensive look at this to make sure we're not creating other issues with other types of uses, because you can't single out just a church. There's laws related to that, and Tim could explain more about that. So we want to make sure we're doing a thorough research, that we know what the implications are of what we're allowing and approving with the ordinance amendment. And then when it comes to you, it would be a recommendation from the Planning Commission. They would actually hold the public hearing on it and take input on it, and then it would come to you. It can move pretty quickly, but we do have legal requirements in terms of the number of days before the public hearing. You have to put the notice in, and then they have to act on it and recommend it to you. So there is some time involved. It takes a little bit longer than that, but I don't think it's going to be anything that takes us a lengthy amount of time. I know I spoke to their sign maker, and they were looking to do something in about 3 months, and we can definitely, go through the process in that amount of time. The bigger concern was with a brand-new ordinance, we're discouraging folks from going for variances, especially this would be a use variance, because it opens up a lot of other things that we might not want to have happen, so.
Sounds good.
Any other questions about that? Sounds good.
Meanwhile, there's a sign on either side of them working right now, so, in the same zoning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
couldn't find a permit for one of them,
all right.
but. All right.
Hermit, schmermit.
I don't know if January 26th is going to work for you, but hopefully sooner than later.
You're moving forward, that's all I came for. Thank you.
Okay.
I actually appreciate that. I mean, this is supposed to be commonsensical and deliberate, not just whimsical action. So we appreciate your patience. Thanks.
He seems to be a very patient man.
Anybody else on public comment? Okay, we can move on to old business. Consider the approval of plan development agreement between the City of South Lyon, Oakland 40 LLC regarding Knolls of South Lyon.
This is on the agenda because it was postponed to this specific meeting. Tim and I have had discussions with the planner, or with the Knowles developer and their attorney. We're asking at this time that we table this item. We're meeting with them either this week or next week, and we'll bring it forth to the council again when we know everything is ironed out.
I'll move to table the item.
I'll support that.
And further discussions out, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Okay, Pumpkin Fest Committee report under new business.
Wow, look at the little ones in front work. That hasn't been in a long time.
Fancy.
It almost worked.
I'll start it. Did you start it? Okay.
There it is.
And the lights.
Flap on.
This usually works.
If she's figured these lights out, she's ahead of the game.
It'll get brighter.
Yeah, the temperature is gonna go down.
There we go.
Sort of.
Good evening, I'm Scott Black from the Pumpkin Fest Committee. With me tonight is Holly Girdham, part of the committee as well. And what we want to do tonight is kind of just do a recap of the 2014 event. We had really good weather. We had it 3 days, which was new for us. We had a new venue for the beer tent, which was new for us. And aside from a couple things we know we need to work on, it was pretty good. So we just kind of want to bring it forward to you, because really without your approval and support and all the department heads, none of this is really possible. So we have some, that picture right there actually is, we had a in-kind sponsor. It's a drone. It's a Great Lakes aerial that we kind of traded services with. So we have some really good shots of the downtown and the parade and everything. That's going. So this year, we were able to reach out a little bit to our community, and we worked with some of the schools and local organizations, and we were able to, these are just some lists of things that we were able to do this year with 50 bales of straw going to Bartlett Elementary. All the pumpkins on the pumpkin pyramid were donated. We had 400 of the youth Pumpkin Fest shirts were handed out at the art contest. We helped out with some of the pumpkin scarecrows. I'm just gonna pause in case it goes. For a school, one of the guys that helps us year after year, his son went to the Stepping Stone School, and he's been donated time over the last couple of years all weekend, so he asked if we could help out, and we helped him with, we didn't pay for the full thing, but we helped him out with those scarecrows, so he's got those for his school and fundraising. And then this year, we were able to do a couple fundraisers for the Michigan War Dog, and as well as Operation Injured Soldier, and Troy Powell helped us set that up from Wonder Jump. And then the last thing we're gonna do is, with using the Wall Street parking lot, we actually worked with Bob Martin and kind of cleaned up some of the weeds that were out there and the plants were overgrown, and we remulched it. And then we're going to get some organizers together and put more plantings back in. So we're going to work with the DDA on kind of a real simple, bomb-proof landscape plan. And, create like cut-throughs for people to walk through, since that's going to happen. So we actually promote areas where that can happen and not walk over plants, so.
Will it be plantings that are conducive with the next Pumpkin Fest as well?
Yeah, yeah, mostly probably perennials, I'm guessing, just because they're inexpensive, and if we lose a couple, it's not, it's not $50, it's not $100, it's $10, I think, so. I can get wholesale prices, so that'll help us out, kind of keep costs down, and hopefully we can get a good group of people to help us do some planting early spring.
We could cement it in and paint some flowers on them.
We thought about it. The next slide here is the highlights, and this is a lot of things we're actually really proud of. This year we had over 30, well, just over 30, I think we had 31 local nonprofit organizations, and they were able to raise $21,000 back to their individual groups. That's the Boy Scouts and Brownies and lots of Girl Scout troops. We had the Lord of the Gourd here again today. That's always a big hit. That gets us some news coverage, and he's really good to sit out there in the hot sun and carve pumpkins all day. New this year, we had the Ultimate Air Dogs, which was a really big hit. We had a lot of positive things about that. Some minor tweaks, just working with Chief Collins that we need to make if we bring them back, but overall, that was a really big success. And then we had Paws, which only took about 12 to 15 phone calls in about 5 months to get them here. I could not believe how hard it was, but they got here, so that was good. And then we had free admission on Friday night for the entertainment, which we had the Johnny Cash, and there's some video coming up of that. And then Saturday, there was some selective free admission from 12 to 4, and then Sunday was free all day. And then, of course, we had the family stage right on Lake Street in front of the Lyon Theater, which was free entertainment for local acts Saturday and Sunday. These are just some pictures we got from the drone. There's Milt Wilcox, our Grand Marshal, and then some of the marching bands and the fire rigs there. You can kind of hear the sound now. Not really.
Looks like a spider following it.
It does. That's fine.
First time I saw that drone, it was about this level right here.
Yeah, there's
No,
what
it's
there.
me there.
What's that?
But it was a great opportunity to kind of document, lay out things and where things worked and where things didn't work. So that was able to really dive into the layout and where we can make some adjustments. But these are just some selective pictures from the streetscape.
Just for spying on
This is right downtown.
drones, they're not just for spying on you. I don't think that's finished. Is it?
Only in, I think it's Wyoming and Alaska, they're allowed to be used.
Well, this might not have been commercial.
Well, I mean, it happens, I see it regularly going on.
Yeah.
I think it's under the radar, but.
Next year, we are thinking about possibly bringing back, it's a big expense to bring them in, but if we do bring them back, we're gonna look at doing some like grandstand seating or something actually. Maybe
That was very popular, yeah.
Yeah. It was tough though. I mean, I think I saw like one dog jump and it was hard to get up there. So if we had some kind of elevated seating, that'd probably help.
Yeah, I mean, children to
Dogs
seniors.
brought
got
in, or were
kicked
they
out.
local dogs as well?
Both. Yeah. The organizer brought in a
That's a great,
couple big jumpers and then you could sign up for it.
It's a nice day. I could use some of that weather right now.
These drums are amazing, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
They had one at a football game this fall.
the fall colors in the trees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a great day. Everything looks good in the sun.
The streets look so wide from uptown.
You can tell who needs a roof job.
And this is some of the highlights from the weekend with entertainment. Friday night, we had Stephen Clark from Channel 7 News with his band, and then a real good Johnny Cash guy. Wish we had louder music for that, but
I heard a lot of good things about the Johnny Cash guy. I wasn't home that day, but I heard a lot of good things about him.
He was good.
he was really good.
Sounds like him.
He really did. It was really crazy. Yeah.
Did he look like him?
Couldn't play the harmonica like Johnny does.
This is from this is the headliner of the Square Pegs, which is kind of an '80s band, and it's from Saturday night.
Is that this wedding day?
No.
No.
No, that was a daytime band. No, that would have been fine at that hour.
My neighbors are.
Everybody's ready for Journey.
Reliving the glory days.
If you look really hard, you can see Bob Martin right in the center with his both hands out.
He's yodeling away too, I bet.
He's there. Right there. With these guys, you got your hat on still. That's kind of a overview of the festival, and then Holly's going to kind of go over some of the financials and the cost and things like that.
All right, so Holly Girdham, Pumpkin Fest. Essentially, as Scott mentioned, we had 30 of the nonprofit organizations that raised over $21,000. And then the $510 donated back to both Operation Injured Soldier and War Dog Memorial. And with this being the 30th year, we added the air dogs, and with the new location with the tents, obviously our expenses were up higher. So we did operate at a loss this year of about $5,500. But other than that, it was a great year, and we got a lot of positive feedback from the nonprofit organizations and coming back next year. And that's about it.
When you guys had your what went right, what went wrong meeting, did you come to conclusions on anything, or just kind of voiced things that you'd like to reflect on?
We had a wrap-up meeting, when was that? October?
Yes.
Late October. So basically everyone came to we had probably about 25 people there, and we basically wrote down and documented everything that people, saw and say, hey, what about this, and what about, how can we do this better? So right now, we're not really into the kind of programming phase. We're just kind of like collecting everything. The biggest thing is we're just desperately in need of volunteers. Holly and I have been doing this this is our 5th year that we came on, and we were thinking like 4 to 5 years would be good. to kind of get people in place and transition out.
Right.
So that's kind of our goal this year, is to find 2, 3, 4, 10 people that would really want to get in and you know, break it up a little more. So it's not 2 or 4 people, it's 10 or 15 people doing it.
Well, and I think with our 5 years, we've created some different relationships with different people and have some good people that we're working with that we're bringing on board in a professional level that will help, that have helped us learn about it and then make it better each year. And then with the feedback that we have at the meetings, we listen to everything we can and take everything into consideration and do what we can to tweak. And I think one of the biggest things this year was the Wells Street parking lot. And I know it was a big concern with some people about the parking, but honestly, I mean, we still had people there, and I think it worked out great. You know, there's always going to be negative comments, but for the most part, after the 2013 event, we had a wrap-up meeting that we got blasted at that meeting. After the 2014, at the wrap-up meeting, it was much more positive. We had more people that wanted to come on board to help out in a positive aspect, not coming at us with
Negative
fix
causes.
this and do all this.
Yeah.
You're doing everything wrong. It was more, we want to be involved because you guys are doing a great thing, and we want to keep helping you make it better. And we want to keep making it better, obviously. So we appreciate the support from you guys because it helped make that decision to move into the Wells Street lot. And I think that was a great decision. So.
Harvey?
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for coming before us and giving us a final report. I appreciate it. And it was a great event. And I would ask if you have any copies, hard copies of your PowerPoint or the financials, if you could give them to the clerk, and we'll add them to our minutes so we have it part of the record. Thank you.
Okay, Aaron?
Did you guys get my suggestion from the band? I sent it to the wrap-up meeting with somebody. Did you guys get that?
About the
regarding-
language?
Yeah.
Yes, we did, and
Okay.
that was because the gentleman that we are working with on the bands, he apologized about that, and he is very specific. When he signs contracts with the bands, they sign a contract about language, and they know it's a family festival. So he is aware of that. We let him know. He apologized, and it won't happen again.
Okay.
Because in his business, that's one of the things they put in. It is a family festival, and obviously, especially during the day, that
Yeah.
never should have happened.
It was, I own a
Yeah.
construction company, so I wasn't offended, but I
no,
I
and
saw
he
families,
definitely did
I saw
apologize.
families running.
I think we kind of know which one.
Yeah, we know
There were
exactly
2
who it
bands that
was.
aren't coming back, and I'm sure it was one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I just wanted to make sure my suggestion got
Yes,
to you.
it definitely did. Yes,
Thank you.
sorry, I should have addressed that.
Oh,
Sorry.
no, that's fine.
Okay, Joe?
Yeah, just a few comments from my side. I was glad to see that there was a compromise made from moving it from 9 a.m. set up to 12 noon. I think that was a good compromise, get all the businesses on board. I thought they started at 12.
The roads were closed at 9.
No, the roads were not closed
The roads are
until
closed at
noon. The
noon.
parking lot was closed
The
at
parking
9.
lot was closed at 9.
Parking lot was
Yes.
closed at 9, yeah.
That
Yeah.
parking lot was,
Yeah,
I
thank you.
apologize, the parking lot was closed at noon, at 9.
Also, it's just a suggestion from my side. I heard that, I know there's corrections this year, but one thing I heard was people still were not able to get into the beer tent, and I know it's a fire issue. You only can allow a certain amount of people in. One thing that maybe I would like to see considered is, I know at other events I've been to, they do like a one in, one out sort of, like almost a clicker. Like if you have a maximum capacity of 800 people, once somebody comes out, if you have a line, then you can let somebody in, so that way you're not turning away people. That just may be something you want to consider, but up to you guys completely. Also, maybe some more local restaurants inside the beer tent would be good instead of from other cities. That's all I got. Thank you.
Just to comment on actually both of those last 2 items that you said, the local restaurants, they have a hard time managing what they've got. Because obviously Mary was very involved the first few years with us with the Pumpkin Fest, and we offered opportunities to her, and she says, I can manage what I've got, and that's all I can do. So they have been approached. You know, we continue to approach them, but they really have a hard time managing what they have. As far as the one in, one out, the reason we did not do that, we tried that the year before. What this offered, what we did this year, was that if you left, you can come back in. Because what happened last year, in 2013, people that left and wanted to come back in after the fact, well, if somebody came in their place, then they get mad and they can't come back in. So it made more sense to Chief Kennedy to sell a allotted amount of tickets, and once they're sold, they're sold. Because if you're in there with your wife and some friends, and you leave, you can't come back in, because somebody else has already come in and
Yeah,
taken
to
your
wait
place.
back in line.
And then you have to get back in line. So that's the struggle. There's, and we're always gonna have a capacity. We're never gonna be able to go over it. So that was the suggestion this year, was to just sell an allotted amount of tickets, and then people know if they bought a wristband, they can come and go as they please. They can come at 7 o'clock and leave at 9 and come back at 10 and still get in. So that was the suggestion.
Well, just thinking out loud, I mean, you're always going to have people who are going to be upset. I know with the Blues, Brews, and Brats at Whipple Street, it didn't seem like there was any capacity issues. I don't know if that venue was even considered, but there was tons of,
That rain kept a
Raining.
lot away.
yeah.
It was raining.
But it looked like that goes back from, forever, it seems.
Or possibly expanding, because you use 2/3 of the parking lot area. I know you kept the one lot for business people to park in, but maybe they might have to just give that up too. And so you could expand that venue a little bit, 1/3 bigger. Everybody else found where the side streets were to park, so.
Yeah, the Blues, Brews, and Brats, I just checked with Chief Kennedy, was about double the capacity we had with this year's event, so that's why they really have any kind of capacity issues, so.
Well, I know you'll be doing we'd be lost without you. We do appreciate you two and your committee.
And I think, realistically, we're gonna have to stand for a couple more years, if we had people in place right now, just to help, pass the torch on, hey, this is where we get the rentals from, this is a fair price, kind of set people up to succeed. So realistically, we know that, but we just want to start that process sooner than later.
And point of
Yeah, you'll stop
information
doing it.
for your people you're seeking, you do meet once a month?
Yep.
As a committee, you're meeting once a month now to plan for next year, so people can get involved sooner than later.
Yes.
Yep, they can send us an email and.
Do
we'll
they
put 'em on
call
the email
you,
list.
or, okay, you have your webpage, right? They can just go to Pumpkin Fest,
Yes,
Southern
and on
Pumpkin
there, there's
Fest.
email addresses, and they can reach out.
Okay,
10 years goes by.
I have a couple of comments I'd like to make.
Feels like-
okay, go ahead.
There was discussion about doing a swappable wristband. So you still have the same number of wristbands, but it's portable if someone knows they're going to leave, that they could give it to somebody else and they could use that wristband. That seemed like that would be, if that was well-known and if they were kind of configured so that was easier to adapt to, that might help. Did you guys have a discussion at all about where Pallet had been located? Okay,
Yeah.
so, I mean,
They actually desired to be back there. We had them in a different spot. They didn't want to be any kind of competition to the tavern, which I can appreciate.
I do too, but
But-
when it's difficult for traffic to get back to them, that kind of negates their,
Signage was kind of an issue.
yeah, right.
Lighting was, there were some issues with that location, so
Right.
that probably won't happen in that same location.
Okay. The way that Milford Memories runs, they have deep penetration with all the churches in that area to extensively solicit for helpers. Have you guys thought about reaching out to every church that's in the general vicinity?
We've thought about it. It's just time.
Okay.
Yeah, right now,
Well, now would be a good time to sort of plan how to reach out to them, as opposed to
There's one
waiting.
right there.
Yeah,
They're
we had-
sinking
we had
low in
couple-
their seats.
we had a couple new people that jumped up this year, and one went right after sponsorship, and that was a huge work, right off our shoulders right away. So, yeah, we've thought about a lot of things, but it takes somebody to help out and facilitate that. We had a lot of ideas, and if people could step up and say, hey, I can put in 2 hours a week or 2 hours a month, we got something to do. It's just finding those people, because right now, just between our families and our jobs and everything, it's.
No, I certainly understand. You guys have to be stretched very
We
thin.
did get a new lady on board this year, about 4 volunteers, and so this was her first year, and she's coming back, and she has a lot, and I'll definitely mention this to her.
Right,
She
just
has
making
lot
up a
of
letter that you can send to them to kind of give them a forewarning that you'd like to have a conversation with them about reaching out for assistance on this thing. That'd go a long ways, I think. So, all right, that's all I had. Thank you.
Okay. Mike?
Yeah, Ali, Scott, thank you. I know it's a lot of work. I
you
know
bet.
you guys have been spending a lot of time, and I know this is one of the highlights of the city, so appreciate it.
Thank you.
That was a great presentation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's the drone.
You droned us. Okay, one more item on their new business. Consider approval of updated support emergency operations plan for the city of South Lyon.
Council might recall that in 2009, the Support Emergency Operations Plan was adopted by council for forwarding to Oakland County. It was Emergency Management Division at that time. They've changed their name to Homeland Security now, but the plans are good basically for 4 years, and then they ask that the cities, villages, and townships readopt whatever plan they have. There were some very minor modifications or updates made to our Support Emergency Operations Plan, and we're asking that council reapprove that plan for submission to Oakland County.
I'll make the motion to approve the support emergency operations plan for the city of South Lyon.
Second.
I'll support it.
Okay, for the discussion,
I was just curious, the documents that were in our packet were kind of, had moved around. They weren't linear number-wise. Like it started on 2 and I think it went to 10 or something. Was that because those were the only places that had language changes?
The documents that I submitted were, was a complete plan and in order. I don't know what happened with the
Close enough.
structuring of the packet.
Okay.
Homeland Security took that out.
Yeah, that's right. It was next.
Actually, you know what? I think I need to amend my motion to approve the emergency plan and also to adopt a resolution that was attached.
I'll second that, too.
You didn't second it the first time.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I thought I did.
You thirded
I
it.
thirded it. It's quiet today, Harvey.
okay. All in favor of the amended version, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Managers report.
Things are going relatively well. As you know, we had a clerical issue with the winter tax bills. They have been reprinted and went out today. But other than that, things are going well. You get your weekly updates, so if you have any questions, forgot to get it mailed out today, but I will get it emailed out to you tomorrow morning.
Okay, Glenn?
Well, we're in the holiday season. We won't have another meeting before Christmas, so I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, a happy holiday, and everything else that helps you get through the holiday season. So,
Money.
yeah, I can't help you with that, I'm afraid. That's all I have.
Aaron?
Happy holidays to everybody. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I'll follow along. That's all I have.
Joe?
Okay, yeah, Merry Christmas to everybody. Also want to mention that the Cool Yule was very good, just everywhere around town. It was just beautiful. And
Oh, can I
Anyone?
say
Yeah.
something about Cool Yule?
please.
I forgot. I had a citizen come to me regarding the candy cane hunt. Were there toilets available for those children? Because our house was closed for the season. Were there portables? Okay, then maybe those children just couldn't find the portables. Okay, so there were portable toilets out there for candy
We're gonna
cane.
open that again next year. You know, we blow all the water out of the pipes.
Right.
We probably could have done it with the temperatures, opened it again. We didn't, but there is.
But there were portables out there. Okay, then maybe that person just couldn't find the portables. I just wanted to make sure they were there. I'm good, thank you. Sorry you cut in.
Oh, no
I
problem.
just want to make sure those kids can pee.
No, so there was tons
Oh,
of.
they
event-
can.
no.
Go ahead.
Oh, thanks, no problem. There was tons of events. I mean, it's very hard to really list them all just because there was so much going on, but the candy cane hunt was fun. There was a lot of hundreds of families, hundreds of kids. So great job to the Masons and also to South Lyon Rec for putting that on. Also want to let everybody know that December 15th, next Monday, there is a fundraiser for the Mad Cats Wrestling at Aubrey's Pizza. So if you go eat at Aubrey's, a portion of the proceeds will donate our local wrestling team, so please check that out. Also, there was a letter in our packet that is available to the public from Mary Novrecki, our farmer's market manager. And just looking back on the farmer's market from this past year, I got to say, this is one of the best farmer's markets that we've had in a long time. And it was just, I enjoyed going every week. It was just, it seemed like every week it was something better and improved. So there's a very nice letter in our packet. Finally, I'd like to just mention that one of the goals I'd like to see personally for 2015 is an improved website for the city of South Lyon. It is kind of, I would say, outdated. So that's something I'd like to see eventually done sometime 2015. Thank you.
Okay. Harvey?
Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you.
Mike?
I want to thank the employees from the DBW for picking up my leaves. I appreciate that. And I hope that, Joe, that you bought some of the 6 dozen cookies we made for the Cool Yule for the Boy Scouts. I want to thank the Boy Scouts for doing all that work. Thank you. I'm sorry, their parents. I'm sorry. Thanks.
They got me for £1.50. And the Cool Yule, you know, if you notice, we've lost our chamber director, and I don't think we've replaced her yet.
I don't believe she has been replaced yet.
And she was one running Cool Yule before. I'm sorry to see Sandy Stewart just leave a few minutes ago. I wanted to thank her. Boy, did she step in and help fill the gap so they could pull that off. And then Dana Johnson also helped out with setting up a parade. What else? You know, she's good at that. And we had a few more entries this year. It'd be nice if we could have more and more, but it was nice to see some of the businesses put in nice lighted floats. And the Historical Society played a huge role in it. Linda Ross and her husband Tom. And of course, the first thing you do, you start naming off everybody, but certainly the Historical Society as a group should be commended for what they did as well. And Santa, he came all the way here to South Lyon, and certainly from the other side of town. And he did a good job, and we want to thank everybody involved with that. And now, folks, we need to go to a closed session to deal with
I'll
some.
move to adjourn.
Okay.
No,
No,
we
we
gotta
go to
move
go-
to-
no,
no,
we
we've got to move to go to a closed session.
Go to closed session
Thank you.
under Chapter 15, Article
That's a roll call vote.
15.268, Section 8A.
Support.